The curse of being a sex object. So, with this particular topic, um, this is focusing on intrinsic value versus meritocracy. So, the first idea that comes to mind with this is the dichotomy between a talented person and a person uh, who has to learn and who has to gain skill sets uh, through artificial means, through trying very very hard, and then eventually getting to the level of the person who has talent and or usurping that talent. So I guess the difference here is that a person who's treated as an object, and they're treated as an object where let's just say a woman, you know, women seem to have inherent value compared to men. So uh, a lot of times women complain about not being taken serious in the workforce. But there's a lot of different reasons for this, and that one of the reasons why they might not be taken as serious in the workforce is because women, uh, a lot of times, just their looks alone gives them a social edge over their colleagues. I was talking to a lady, and she was telling me that Uh, she told me that she outsells a lot of the guys who work at the dealership with her. I will leave her unnamed, but it was an interesting conversation because I noticed throughout the conversation she was saying that she was stressing that she's competent and that she knows what she's doing. She also stressed that people were more willing to talk to her than her colleagues, or if she didn't stress it, it was kind of blatantly obvious. Now, she did have a friend that was near her, and I noticed that my attention was mainly focused on her because she was the most attractive in the group. Now, uh, the benefit of that um, is 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 expansive. It's an extreme benefit, but women like. I don't think they can fully cope with the idea that just how much leverage their looks actually give them. Now, um, I guess the idea of the curse simply is that we never expect most men to be able to get by off of their looks, and women can get by off of their looks, and they can also command social spheres just based off of their looks. They can get attention quite easily, even the average woman, not just a extremely attractive woman. Um, so the reason why there's a differential in who's taken serious is partly due to the idea that um, we naturally give more precedence to women, especially really attractive women and extremely attractive men. Um, so um, that's at least one of the reasons, and this is a topic that deserves a little bit more discussion. But the curse of being an object, uh, a lot of times it it can be to a woman's benefit, and she'll use it whenever it's to her benefit. But the downside is that you can't be taken as serious when you have other when you have this passive thing that allows you to, let's just say, acquire more business, to get more people. I noticed while talking to the person who was working at the dealership, they said that they pull in more customers. They pull in more customers, you know, and they stressed that it was because they were competent and good at what they do. But I think the part of the curse of being an object, um, for erotic reasons, is that you always feel you have to compensate by stressing your level of competence, um, because you know that it's almost like the looks creates a pressure on you to prove that you're capable. Now, with men, the pressure to prove they're capable comes from competing with other men. Um, Now, what's interesting is that a lot of women are working in predominantly male environments a lot of times. So they feel pressure that they have to show the men that they can do what the men can do. And then they feel pressure on top of that. They feel pressure that they aren't just a pretty face, who can bring in all the attention, but there's actually brains behind it. And the fact that our society values prettiness and attractiveness more than it values intellect, seemingly, this I think is what creates the need uh, to bolster one's competence level of competence. It'd be similar to a short person, and how I'm pretty sure you've heard of the Napoleon syndrome, how a little person will act extremely tough, and they'll act out and act all macho, but then they're doing that to make up for their lack in size and their lack in stature compared to the average height of a man, or a man who is 6'2", 230 pounds, 245 pounds, or something like that. Um, so yeah, there's more to this topic, but the general idea behind this is that a lot of times women use their looks to leverage things in society and to get what they want. But then the downside comes when it comes to focusing on the merit that a person has. And this isn't to say that there aren't women who aren't extremely competent in what they do, but this is to say that men don't have that same uh, they don't have that same leverage. So we naturally expect men to focus more on meritocracy rather than on using something else. That's part of the reason why we take men more serious when it comes to their work and what they produce in society, is because there's nothing the main source of his work comes from meritocracy. Whereas a woman, she doesn't always have to depend on merit. She can depend on other things. She can depend on protective instincts from the males and everyone in an environment. She can depend on a culture that caters to females. Gynocentrism, I guess I'll talk about that in the future. She can depend on her looks, which will, in a lot of times, in a lot of ways, it'll give her leverage. For example, one of the main pieces of leverage is that people are going to be more willing to go and talk to a woman because she's less threatening, because she's more attractive, because it also depends on the kind of customers you're bringing in. But women tend to be easier to talk to, um, at least from a social standpoint. We don't really draw as many blanks from a protective measure. Like, we don't see them as a threat, um, is what I'm saying. So yeah, the curse of being a sex object is something to think about.